survivors. Welcome to Let's Die Revenant, the his versus hers guide to surviving impossible things. And this week we are surviving podcasting.
Arguably.
Arguably, we might not survive.
Questionably. My name's Bret.
I'm Codey.
Hi, Codey.
And we have Mystery Third Human. Mystery Third Human, say hi.
Hello.
Wow.
That is the dulcet tone. You see that? We press record, and then the tone of his voice shifted, and now we're getting the honey. He's just poured honey over his microphone. That's what that is. Jay from the Tragedy Academy, welcome to Let's Die.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. I've been waiting for this because you guys have such a cool dynamic. I'm always digging your art, digging the stuff that you guys put out, and I finally get a chance to sit down with the lunatics behind the curtain.
Yeah, lunatics. That's pretty fair, honestly. Yeah, Codey. How do you feel about since I drug you into this fucking nightmare of a podcast?
I will say I am probably more of a type A. Like I like to have things planned out like a lot more like in very, very specific, like here's the script that we're going to say. And that's not how this works. And the first couple times I was very like, what are we doing? And I've embraced.
Who is going to write that script? And let me tell you, I ain't got time for all that. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. I feel like I'm hearing Gary and myself, you being me and Bret being Gary.
I want like to know exactly what I'm saying at all times. I want to have a plan going into it. I want to be apprised of everything that's going to happen. And then this guy hits me with the Groundhog's Day episode where I have no idea what's going on and it's just crazy and maniacal and I am laughing my ass off because it's also really funny.
It's amazing.
So we should preface this with this episode's a little bit different than normal, like in that we're talking it's very meta, right? Like we're talking about the thing that we're actually doing right now. So like we're gonna really pull the veil back on the show, as it were. So like you said, the Groundhog's Day episode, I literally had the idea for that. So Jay, if you're not familiar, what I did was I recorded an entire episode where I would talk and then pretend like Codey was responding and then respond kind. So it's just madness. And then when we started the show, I pressed play on that recording and had her and just didn't tell her. I gave her no heads up. So it was just the recording of me talking while I'm just sitting here not doing anything, and Codey trying to react to the audio recording. And it turned out beautifully. Like I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever done. And I did that. I sat down and did that like an hour before we started recording. Like it just came to me and I just did it. But like I struggle when it comes to like you said, you need it plotted out. I struggle with that. Yeah. Like I don't know if it's just the performer in me or like just the improv bug or something, but I feed off of the moment, as it were.
I mean, I'm an improv human. However, I do need an outline. I need a guide. Like I need to know what's up and like what's going on.
The ADHD. We were talking about that before we started. People don't understand that that's a breakdown in executive function in different areas. It makes you highly creative in the moment. You can spin things in the moment like nobody's business, but you need that kitchen drawer with the fork, knife, spoon holder in order to get there. Like you've got to have things in line so that when shit does pop, you can just start spinning in place like a madman. It gives you, I don't know, it's like a those stress blankets, the heavy weighted ones.
Oh yeah,
it's like having vests. One of those on. Yeah. Thunder vest. Yeah, like a dog.
I need to. Oh yeah, that is what. I've been using them all wrong this whole time.
I would use it. I have one, man. I love that blanket. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've actually wanted to get one for a while.
You should.
I need the anxiety and the overthinking crushed out of my body. Which is the thing, because then if I don't have that and things go off the quote unquote off the rails, they were never on the rails. The rails are an illusion. But if they went off of the rails, I'm gonna sit in bed and just be like, I sounded like an idiot on that episode and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just gonna overthink. And so I'm like, okay, let me just have everything prepared.
Codey, if there's ever an episode where you feel like you're lost, just let me this is why we work so well together, is because I can shoulder that load.
Yeah.
And then I just need to shut up when you're taken the wheel sometimes, as we've come to find out. Sometimes the podcaster in me, where no dead air, no dead air, no dead air, means I got to get my thoughts over across quick. I got to get this joke in post haste, and so that's led to like bled over into my real life where I like interrupt my fiance, and it's become an actual problem where like we'll have a conversation and I just interrupt her like
I bet if there was a camera in 3rd grade in the corner of the room pointing at young Bret, there'd probably be similar actions taking place then as they are now.
Probably more stabbing with plastic forks and drawing
well, I was only allowed a spork.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to have too long of a tip on the end of that thing.
Oh, honey, why don't you sit over here in this corner and draw some dinosaurs? Tell me why you were stabbing yourself with a fork.
That's honestly how I spent my childhood at the special desk. Not for anything, but I couldn't shut my mouth and I couldn't stop observing everything that was going on around me and commenting on it.
Parties are the worst. So I am an awakened ADHD. Like I didn't realize I had ADHD until
third eye open
very recently. And now I realize why, if I'm ever in a party of more than 5 or 10 people, I just like, because I am listening to the conversations happening over there and I'm preparing a joke for those people over there. I'm not in that conversation, but I'm ready to jump in. I'm ready to be freaking hilarious. Meanwhile, the human who's actually trying to talk to me, I'm like masking. I'm just like, You're
being what they want you to be in that moment.
Exactly.
Because they don't really expect anything out of you. They just want you to hear their script that they prepared for the party.
Welcome to ADHD Cast with Cody and Jay.
So Jay, this weird thing that we find ourselves doing on a weekly basis called podcasting, like I can tell you like just in 2 sentences or less how I got into it. It was like me and my friend creator of this show as well, Taylor, original co-host, we had an argument over what the best weapon was to survive zombies.
That's a legitimate argument. I have been on numerous zombie apocalypse teams without knowing I was.
She's like, this could be like our back and forth. She said this could be a podcast, and I was already an avid podcast listener, and I'm like, yeah, okay, and there it is. So Jay, how, like, I'm assuming you probably listened to podcasts as well before you started. Like, what made you pull that trigger? That's like, I could do this.
So honestly, I wish it was I could do this conversation with myself or with a friend, but it was more so it was a amalgamation of a whole shit ton of issues within myself that I had not resolved, and only to find out that it was a full circle scenario through life where I was just needing to be the child that I was originally. I was supposed to be observant. I was supposed to understand the human experience. I was supposed to keep people engaged because that's who I am. I'm supposed to laugh and I'm supposed to spread a better message, right? But for the longest time, I didn't do that. You know, I played the game. I grew up poor, went to the army, did that garbage, then went to college. I've checked all the blocks. I got all the way to the suburbs, got my Audi, you know, got like the theater room in the house and all that happy stuff.
Yeah.
And kept checking blocks, but every single time I was on my knees crying the next day, still having anxiety attacks. It was just a drug like everything else, you know? And I started to realize that for me, you see our logo is the masks. Right? And it's not about a theater troupe. It is actually a tribute to the fact that our egos are in fact characters that we wear throughout our day-to-day lives, right? And we walk through with so many of those in a sack over our shoulder that we don't realize that we have them, because every personality that you carry through your life is attached to your mind with an invisible spider web. And you have to remember who that personality was. And if you think you're not that person, check yourself, pick up the phone. What's your voice when AT&T calls? What's your voice when mom calls? What's your voice when dad calls? What's your voice when your boy calls? Right? Those are all different humans. All different humans. And
Cody,
yeah,
Cody, I what I tell you, I was like, we got a fucking pro.
Yeah, you're bringing
today.
some credit like
I'm over here like sex joke, and
Trust me, I got plenty of that shit.
Jay's dropping like existential bombs on us. Like I'm
yeah, you're
reevaluating
bringing
my
a lot of like
soul.
existential stuff, and we're
Oh,
usually a lot of
Mhm.
goofy, but it's
but
super
here's the
important to
thing,
have those
that's
conversations.
passion.
Mm-hmm.
Laughter, creativity, goofing the fuck around is when you get the best of being a human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who wants to sit around worried about the fucking future or, anxiety and depression, future and past? That's not now. I'd rather laugh and make fart jokes all day long than sit here and have to worry about this. Dude, my wife knows that I'm a walking cartoon character.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, I dance when people are looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Whereas growing up, I did not. I was bullied all the fucking back.
Yeah.
I was
Same.
bullied for being trans as a kid when I wasn't. At gynecomastia, I grew up in a very hillbilly town. Had things thrown out of trucks at me, had all sorts of bigoted things done, and I became different people. You want to know why, I became the podcaster is because I played those roles I was just describing. I was Johnny CEO, Johnny director, Johnny this, and all of those were not me. Not a single one of them. They were a character in a play that is life. Until I realized that I could be me and people would love me regardless. That's when podcasting really became something to me. When I loved myself enough to act like a fucking fool unconditionally, then it's time. That's when you get to really start meeting people. You guys wouldn't have been in my life 4 or 5 years ago. I was not the human you wanted to be near.
Yeah.
And not because I was a bad human. I think I was just playing the human game.
Well, and people change. Like, I think that's the biggest thing is that we all go through our own journeys, and we discover things about ourselves. And when people do have that aha moment, like, I feel like me for the longest time, anxiety, depression, feeling like I procrastinated all the time. Like, why do I have all these issues? Finally talked to my therapist, and I was like, yo, my life should be great. Like you're saying, like, I've checked all of these boxes. Why am I upset? Like, why am I still crying? She was like, well, it's probably chemical. And so then I I started using, no, you don't think it is? Oh, okay. Well, Lexapro
keep going.
amazing.
No, honestly, I just love it because there's a lot of stuff we can talk about.
Yeah,
with
no,
this.
Lexapro is amazing. It got rid of a lot of that. And then now it's the ADHD. Now it's my realization of ADHD, and just acknowledging and accepting that part of myself has helped so much of my life.
It's like a hug, isn't it?
It is a hug.
It's a hug for your childhood self.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, and like I just got to do things different. I can't write. So I'm an academic. I'm getting my doctorate. I can't do things the same way that other grad students are doing. Like I just can't. I don't operate that way. It's not me. And so I just got to do things different. I'm trying to make sure that I advocate for other students that also have neurodivergencies.
Absolutely should.
Other
Time
issues.
blindness is a thing.
Sure
People
is.
don't realize these things. But to your point about medication, you are right. Medications are amazing. I think that there is a place for them. I believe the way that it was explained to me by my neuropsychologist was that it gives you a stable platform with which to address the issues that you have in the real time. It's not something that you take till you're 85.
Right.
It's basically giving you a suspended animation within your mental health issues so that you can see what actually creates them.
Yeah.
Right. Which is actually fear. It's just all made up things.
Correct. Yeah.
But that medicine is not there to like rewire shit. It's there to hold you in place and give you what you're lacking in certain areas so you can go, oh shit, you know, and kind of figure out, oh, that's bipolar, that's ADHD, that's that, and this is just my fucking ice cream addiction.
Yeah.
So
well, and so like so you had that moment as well, and then you said you started podcasting. Is that when Tragedy Academy was born?
Correct.
Okay. And what is that? What?
The Tragedy Academy is a show created to bridge societal divides in a judgment-free zone using candor and humor. Talk to people from all walks of life. Doesn't matter what you've been through. We're only the sum of our experiences, nothing more, nothing less. And I believe that we're at a point in time where we need to learn from each other and realize that just like glasses, they have prescriptions and they are comprised of experiences. We have our own glasses. I can't borrow your glasses and see. You can't borrow mine and see. We prove this at every dinner table or every, stupid restaurant across America when everybody's like, let me see your glasses. Let me see mine. You have to believe that that person can now see or not see through those glasses when they give them back.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as having empathy for somebody else's experience that you've not gone through. Just giving people the chance to be people.
Yeah.
I love all this like serious conversation about stuff, and I just want to note that I've been quiet the whole time.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
What do you think about that? I mean, like you
seriously.
Yeah, like
Who,
what
me?
are your thoughts? Yeah. Or have you just been over there going pee pee poo poo
pee pee poo poo guy over here,
No,
just fucking
like,
around.
I guess like how have your life experiences led to you as a podcaster, and like how are they like helpful to you?
I'm sure it's something about like Jay mentioned, that childhood pain of stuff that you've been through and acting out, and then like just you need that. You feel like you never got the spotlight, even though you were kind of a piece of shit in class clown. It was, for me, it was mostly a need to perform and to get that creativity out that had been bottled up for such a long time, an outlet for just stuff, man.
Yeah.
I am not capable of speaking as eloquently as either of you two highly intelligent people, clearly. And then like when we start talking about like feelings and stuff like that, I'm just like,
intelligence is relative.
This is not Bret's forte. Bret hides behind the character Bret. And I know I'm not supposed to be doing that right now because we're having like an earnest conversation about podcasting and stuff like that. But it's very hard to switch off. So like, is it like right now you're not getting performance Bret, where you're, because Bret the character is larger than life, kind of over the top, like always got something to say. Regular Bret is part of me, but it's it's way more toned down than that. My brain doesn't quite operate exactly the same. I feel like, well, I'm sure everyone's brains operate differently, but I think mine a little bit more.
They really do.
They really do. I think the thing about like removing like a performer Bret is just, it's a vulnerability to like be yourself. So like it's vulnerable for me to sit up here and talk about my anxiety, my depression, my ADHD, stuff like that. Like it's not something I try and talk about on podcasts a lot because I have big fear that someone from my university is gonna listen and then they're gonna like, I don't know. It's never gonna happen. I just don't think
but, like, regular Bret is interesting to listen to even a little bit.
Dude, regular Bret came up with all of these shows. Like, you are one of the most creative people that I have ever known.
Stop. We don't need
and I am not making that up. Like, again, we're gonna harp on the Groundhog Day episode. Like, that was hilarious. And then when you mentioned it, I thought you'd been planning it for years.
But no, you live in the moment, sir.
Yeah.
You're setting an example for other people. It doesn't have to be some kind of eloquent speech, because again, words are the great divider. We have things that we talk from other cultures and we try to give them, parallel words, and they don't even fucking work. We were just talking about this the other day. Farsi, I love you. For us, we're trying to tattoo I love you as the 3 words. Theirs is like, I will generationally die for your family and everybody in between, is what this word means, these 3 words. Nobody wants to die for me that says I love you in my life, except for maybe like 2. Like, how many can you honestly count that are going to legit jump in front of something to save you? Not a whole lot. It's a different thought process. Right? It's a different understanding. It means something different to each person. And for yourself, man, you're speaking your truth all the time through your actions. You're wild, dude. You're
I'm
jumping
like,
around and you're showing other people that it's okay to be wild and jump around.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
huge.
I'm like, rev room. I can't pronounce this Pokemon. Vroom, 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 vroom. Drive down the street, big car.
But
I mean,
seriously,
Ceruledge. Can't say Ceruledge. I mean,
Cereal
Don't
Edge?
get me
What's a
started
cereal
on
edge?
Ceruledge. I can't pronounce.
Pokemon.
It's a
Oh,
Pokemon, but there's something about like the C and the R and like with room, the V and like there's I speak for a living like outside of podcasting, like my real job.
Yeah.
I speak. I can't speak. Cody, say the name of that fucking thing.
Ceruledge. Oh,
No, the other one.
cereal edge?
Rev room.
Room.
Reva
Room.
room. No, it's not
Room.
Reva room. There's another V in there.
There's not.
Okay, Cody, you and Jay have a nice conversation. I
there
need
is.
to go Google
There is.
Pokemon.
Rev of Room. It is
Rev of
there is
room. Yeah, that is weird.
Rev of Room.
Reva Reva
Room.
Reva room.
Room.
You know
Rev of
what?
Room.
No one tuned in for this. I'm sorry to derail.
I mean, this is another thing about podcasting is sometimes you say things
everywhere.
that first of all, it goes everywhere. But second of all, like you're trying to say something that you've always said in your head in a certain way, and then you say it, and other people are going to say it differently, and y'all are going to people are going to be like, what? Like one of my favorite podcasts, I'm pretty sure the main host has dyslexia, and people make fun of the way that he talks all the time. And I'm like, I have friends with dyslexia. I think he also has dyslexia, but he hasn't disclosed it or might not know that he does. And so I'm like, maybe don't make fun of him. Like, we're people. We're all people. Like, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter if you can't say
really not a
Room
big deal.
or Ceruledge. Like, it doesn't matter.
My point is like I speak for a living, but yet I can't speak half the time.
But you can.
I'm trying. Right, but like when I podcast, it's not about speaking good. It's about just making the ha-has. That's all I really care about. Is if someone listens to this and goes ha-ha, like and they get some sort of comfort in that, like maybe they're having a shitty day and they turn on Let's Die or After Dark Cry or Jawsbreakers and they're like
and there it is.
Like these people are talking about fucking B movie for some reason, and it's just the stupidest shit. We're doing B movie.
We're not gonna do B movie.
We're gonna do B movie. God damn it. Anyway, Sherry Seinfeld was a female worker bee all along. Anyway,
Jay, I don't know
if that makes people laugh, or even just chuckle.
Matters.
Or mildly amused, then my mission is accomplished.
You got to make.
Well, I think we live on impulsivity and we use fear as a way to hold it back. I believe in my heart of hearts that if you're walking through something as stupid as Target and you have the urge to give somebody a high five, it's probably because they need it.
They're probably
because the only reason why you're not going to give it is you don't want somebody to judge you for doing something stupid.
Yep.
They're probably looking for those freaking mute codes that are on some hidden label somewhere. It's an old Target promotion. Terrible joke. Sorry. The Pokemon people are loving it.
But even like those small moments that you can have, like you're saying, like having the little haha, or like having a small moment where you can just try and do something positive for someone else, it can make all the difference. It can, like, just saying something goofy, us screwing up Ceruledge every single podcast, like, it's going to make someone laugh, and it's going to be freaking hilarious. Like, it reminds me of when I worked at a grocery store, and I walked into the back stock room one day, and there was a guy that was, like, loading a truck. And he loaded the forklift did a weird thing. The whole pallet fell over. He just started cursing and walked away. And I was like, I'm going to go buy him an energy drink and a chocolate bar, and I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to give those to him. Oh, there's Sebastian.
Oh, hey, bud.
Hey.
I'm going to give those to him.
That's a real human child, not a dummy like the ones in the background.
Yeah, I was wondering what we were doing back there behind you. I was getting a little bit, I didn't know if this was like a Silence of the Lambs type thing.
Because you'll be a test.
We'll get there, Jay. Don't you worry.
That's a horrible song that I love from the 90s, by the way, or that band, Crash Test Dummies.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But yeah,
I looked the song up. It's amazing.
Giving that guy a chocolate and an energy drink, and then I just like I was just going to leave it there and walk away, but he was there, and I was like, hey, looks like you're having a hard time. Here's these. I got to go back to my department, but like, you're good. And he gave me a big old hug and he called me his angel. And he was like, oh my God, this day sucked. Like, I've had all these things happen. Then this happened. And then I walked away and then like went back to my department. He came back up, gave me another hug. And he was just like, you know, like just that, like just having another human acknowledge a struggle or like having someone like pick
So
you up.
easy.
Like, it's all like, it took me $4. And I was just like, here you go. Goodbye. Like, didn't just left.
You know,
So-
Cody's fired up and having a good time when she's smacking the shit out of that microphone.
When you hear
I love
this
that.
all the
Whack,
time,
whack, just beat the shit out of it.
I hit
But
the
it's
mic
so
at least
simple.
once. But yeah,
I didn't realize this. You know, for the longest time, we hold giving back or helping others
out of fear. Yeah.
out of fear of judgment, or honestly, I think it's kind of fear of or admittance of how good we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll look away from people in the most dire situations, not because we'll come up with reasons why they should be in that situation. We'll do anything we can to paint that picture when in reality, it's just because we don't want to go, yeah, I got it pretty fucking good. I shouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
What am I bitching about? We won't do that. We'll fucking paint the other picture. It's much easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to hate than it is to, you know, get out and do your own thing.
Yeah.
So Jay, I want to pivot a little bit here. In listening to your show, I really appreciate how all your different various guests come from all different walks of life and backgrounds and careers and stuff. Like recently I was listening to about a gentleman, I'm so sorry I forget his name, but he dives for shark teeth. And
Yeah, Jeffrey Heim.
never would have even considered that as a career. And awesome show. It's fantastic. So like what I'm really curious is like, where is the Tragedy Academy in like 5 years from now? Like, are you still doing the same thing, or like do you plan to like branch off into more avenues? Like, when is the Tragedy Academy day show talk show, you know, where you guys are up there like Ricky Lake and Oprah, like bringing on Gwar and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I would meet Oprah. She seems like she gives a good hug.
I bet Oprah gives the best hugs.
Right?
Ladies
I don't need the whole, like, you know, you get a this and you get a that. Just give me a hug.
I don't
Like,
need
I
a
bet-
free car or a trip to Australia. Just need
she
a hug.
probably gives the best shit out at Halloween. The best.
Oh, man, dude. Full-size Snicker bars.
Yeah,
Not the fun-size shit.
for Easter, all the eggs have like $5 in them, you know, like just the cool.
They're all Fabergé.
Oh God. Yeah. You meant to
You
say
just
they're
run
all
around-
Fabergé.
You get an egg and you get an egg.
We
Don't
mentioned,
break them because they're.
we mentioned Oprah because I just watched A Wrinkle in Time. Ooh,
A Wrinkle in Time.
Ooh.
I think I read that book. Was it a book?
I think so. Yeah,
I feel
It's
like
a
I
book
read that
first.
like a gajillion
movie
years
was-
ago.
movie.
Why do
was
I know that?
a
bad.
gajillion and a half. Actually, it is
And-
it is a child's book.
And Oprah's a main character. I went, is that Oprah? Like I had to like ask my partner. I was like, is that Oprah? Like
Did
she hasn't done
Oprah win
anything
an
in
Academy
years. Like
Award?
what is she doing? Who knows? I don't follow.
I think she
awards.
did. Like, you know, one of those people that only did something on screen once ends up walking away with like a slam dunk. And I think it was like The Color Purple or some shit like that. I shouldn't know things like this, by the way.
Your guess is as good as mine. The only awards I follow is the After Dark Rye Awards at the end of every
Nice.
year, baby.
So to answer your question, we've actually got a lot of stuff in the works right now.
Yeah.
So much like yourself, I have a co-host too. And that's Gary DeFranco.
Gary.
I interviewed him, about 2 years ago. And I don't think we've had more than 2 days in a row that we haven't talked since then. I'm very fortunate. I'm like the March Dimes version of what he does. He just lets me kind of hang out with him. Gary is he's the Ultimate Fighter executive producer for like fucking 20 years. He started out as like the bottom of the, you know, grip, whatever, and worked his way up with them, and then worked for like Street Outlaws and all sorts of other stuff. And he was the executive producer for that. The guy's got, you know, magic fingers. Whatever he touches turns to gold, but it's always somebody else's dream. He's the ultimate hype man. He will believe in anybody and everybody to the fullest extent. And now we're going to believe in him. So
I like that.
we're starting a second show. Did you just give me snaps?
I did just give you snaps.
Shit, I got a clip out right now that just came out this week. I love getting snaps. They're like my favorite thing to get. They make me
You're
feel so
welcome.
cool.
I don't think I
know
can
that.
do it. I can't.
So
Really, we're
Gary
vibing.
has
Can't do
a
it.
show coming out. We've got like
There it is.
30 people already signed up to be on the show just from the combat sports community. And what the name of the show is Bars, Cars, and Scars. And it's going to be about music, hip hop music. And then of course, racing, cars and things like that. And then combat sports being the scars. So it's like your all around man kind of show, but talking with people about how they got to where they are and, you know, what makes them who they are at the end of the day, what brings them to combat sports, you know, and how they envision, you know, using that as a platform for something else. Or talking to people about, you know, combat sports fans are likely to be a fan of music in different areas, you know, or we can bring in a artist.
Probably cars too.
Yeah, an artist that happens to like, you know, have a whole car collection, you know, things like that. And we've got a ton of people lined up for it. We're in pre-production right now. We're going to be recording in about 5 locations in Florida here in the next couple weeks, I think.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Ooh, always leave them with a little extra at the end there.
I'll sprinkle a little more out there for you. We are signing with a new network. There's 5 podcasts of all together at the moment, and it's called the Creative Impact Network. It is designed for people that are pursuing their passions and their authentic selves. I don't care if you're enjoying Pokemon and making people laugh, or if you're the best fly fisherman, fly maker that everybody wants to listen to Ben Stein or whatever it is. As long as you love what you're doing and you're putting in the work, then you get a chance to get a seat at our table.
That's
Right?
sweet.
It's about the passionate, authentic podcasters out there. It's a couple of friends that, you know, we've, you know, throughout the years when you podcast, I just sounded like Sylvester.
I thought Tweety Bite.
You see people come and go in podcasts like
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Everybody thinks it's just like let me just turn on a mic and talk.
Yeah.
And there's really a lot of nuts and bolts behind the scenes that go into it.
Sure.
And it's hard to see who's going to come out the other end. And it usually takes about 2 years to 3 years. And the people that come crawling out of that Walking Dead scene, still holding a mic, you know, they're the ones.
That's how I feel.
In a network, right? They're dragging XLR cables and old equipment behind them that they've had to upgrade. You know, they've got like their shoe has like what looks like toilet paper, but it's actually an Instagram feed with people trying to sell you artwork and social clippings. You're dragging it behind you.
Speaking to my soul right now, Jay.
Yeah.
Speaking to my soul right now, you know, like I've been doing this for so long and with like little to no help. Like I mean, Cody, I'm not talking about you. Like I'm talking about like since I started, like it was me and Taylor for the longest time, but Taylor didn't do any of like the behind the scenes stuff. I had to figure out how to do all that stuff by myself. And like I was a construction worker. Like I didn't even have a PC. I didn't have a computer and I was podcasting. Like you can go back to the earliest episodes of this show because this is the first show I ever put out. And they sound like garbage. They're
right?
funny.
They're
funny as hell. They're so funny that I'm just leaving them up there. Like
ear bigotry, dude. That's one thing about podcasting. People don't give a shit if it sounds like shit and they can't see it. We are ear spoiled. Mm-hmm. If you have an echo in your audio and you don't have video to support it, it doesn't matter what you tell them you're doing. You're in a porta potty. Mm-hmm. In the ear, you are downgrading. Your mic sucks. Mm-hmm. You are just in a shack. Your ears will, as soon as you flip on the screen, oh, that's a warehouse. Look at that. That's fucking cool. Right? Suddenly you're in this whole different world. You have just audio in your ear, man. We'll beat you down like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody.
What's up?
Hey, like me and Jay have talked about this, like our kind of like origins and how we got around to this, but an entomologist. How did this happen?
Fuck yeah, that's
Like
cool.
just like
Yeah.
how? Like who drug you into this? And like what's their address? I'll go beat them up for you.
Well, I don't want to beat anybody up. I think what the impetus or the I don't know, the beginning of it. I don't remember if it was It's Super Effective, which is a Pokemon podcast, or the Harvest Season, which is a farming game podcast.
Blowing over there. It's Super Effective is the number
Did you
one
just say Pokemon
podcast.
and then farming?
Yeah,
she did. She's a very interesting individual.
I'm on it's a Pokemon podcast and then a farming game podcast. So it's like about Stardew Valley and stuff like that. Though I also have started preparing, and we recorded a couple episodes, but we're gonna have to re-record them. A podcast about taxonomy.
Whoa!
This
I was
predates
not made
you.
aware of
This
this.
predates you.
As your manager, I'm gonna have to put a big kibosh on that.
So anyway,
gotta keep my talent in line here.
So I don't know if it was for the Women's Day episode of the Pokemon podcast where Maddie asked for my opinion as a woman who plays podcast or who plays Pokemon.
Podcast,
yeah, I play podcasting too.
Or I was asked to be a co-host on the Harvest Season. I just started doing it. I mean, both of them, like the Pokemon one, they just have news that you just talk about. The Harvest Season, you also have like new farming game news, but we also usually have like a game that we're covering specifically. So I'm actually going to record a podcast tomorrow about a game called Usagi Shima, which is a little bunny collecting game. It's so cute.
Oh
I lived in Tokyo for like 5 years, dude. I love that whole entire.
I don't.
I took Japanese in college and forgot all of it. So that's
dude, I haven't
spoken
so long.
I don't really remember it. But yeah, no, Usagi Shima is a super cute little bunny game. And so I'm playing that for I'm basically reviewing it for the podcast. I just play it on my phone. And we do that. So that's what that podcast is. And then I think, Bret, you heard me on It's Super Effective.
So I did want to bring this up, actually. So Jay, how I hooked up with Codey here is I heard you've been on it a couple times.
Yeah.
And
and I'm getting
beat the shit. Kick the shit. Goddamn microphone.
I do this shit all the time. I'm a hand stalker myself. That's why the mic is behind the arm.
That's why I got a headset.
I wish. So yeah, my big thing with Pokemon and being an entomologist is that there are no bee Pokemon, and I am here to.
There isn't.
There's not. Beedrill is a wasp.
Well,
Beedrill is a wasp. Combee is a comb of larval hymenopterans, which are not bees, because then it evolves into Vespiquen, who is a bee. Rabombi and Cutie Fly are both bee flies. It's actually in their thing, so they are a completely different. They're actually a fly.
You just said Vespiquen was a bee, but you meant wasp, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I said it's not a bee. So there are no bee Pokemon.
My mistake.
So I talk about this all the time. Whenever I'm on It's Super Effective, I'm always talking about bee bugs and insects, everything, because that's what I do.
And I am just a dirty little boy who loves bugs. I think they're super cool.
I took entomology in high school and I loved it, dude. Like, I also used to torture small flies because I used to think it was interesting to look at them and hold them there. I'm sure it was pretty cruel. And
I do that with dead ones.
My
those are all dead insects.
My life thing that I guess that my creed, I guess, that I follow is like, I am not a religious person at all, but I guess like thou shalt not kill. And I take that very seriously, like even to the smallest ant. I understand there's scenarios that I can't control where I do have to kill things like mosquito or something. Yeah.
It's a reaction.
Yeah. But like I love bugs, and I think that they have a, obviously, well, I don't need to tell you, Codey, that they have a vital role to play in the ecosystem, regardless of how creepy they are. And I even worked on it and got over my fear of spiders. Like I keep a tarantula now and I love it. And I love spiders now. Like I'm horribly deathly afraid of them and got over it. But I heard you a couple times on Super Effective, and I'm like, this person loves bugs. I love bugs. There was something, and it's not just that, it's deeper than that. There's something about listening to you, Codey, that I was like, me and this person if we became like if we given the opportunity, I feel like we could become really good friends just based off of, and maybe that's some parasocial shit, like when you listen to someone then you relate to them.
Mm-mm.
But ultimately, I don't remember the Twitter post where someone was like, what do you want for your podcast this year? And I typed in there, didn't even, I don't think I even knew you would see it or something. I was like, I want Cody Mathis to be on my podcast. I might have tagged you, and just shot in the dark. And you
Yeah.
said you'd do it.
Yeah.
You came on After Dark Rye, and I kid you not, Jay, it was like what, like 2 weeks of talking after that. I was
Yep.
like, hey, do you want to do this other show with me that I'm trying to bring back?
Yeah, it was
And
very similar to what you were saying about you and your co-host. It was like ever since you had that first like
Yep.
I was on an After Dark Right episode, and I don't think Bret and I have had a day that we haven't talked since that time.
That's how
or-
Gary and I are, and we
or at
bonded over
least Snap.
music. Yeah, what's up?
We are almost at a year.
yeah,
We have
Snapchat.
Check you out.
357 straight consecutive days of being Snap buddies. So
That's
We-
how it goes. Gary and I
we
bonded over
roll.
music. Once he had been on the show, I had started creating music for podcasting. Again, out of necessity, you try to farm out shit when you first start doing podcasting. You'll go to all these services, Fiverr, and these different. We'll make this shit for you. We'll give you music. We'll edit your shit. We'll do this. Music was the hardest thing for me. Everything I got back was hot garbage because I wanted a good intro, and I was like, oh my god, this is not good. And I just started, I had GarageBand open at the time because that's how I was working on the podcast. And I was like, what are loops? What is this? And I just started doing stuff and ended up very late in life realizing that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Music is my thing. It's something I enjoy. I'm very good at it. I don't care if I ever make a stinking dime at it. It's just fun.
Yep.
And I think that, to your point, when you said that you heard her on that podcast and it made you automatically know that you wanted to be friends with that person, I think that is a very unique indicator of somebody being 100% themselves. When somebody is acting uninhibited and being 100% what they were created to be, people are naturally attracted to them. We see it throughout all fame and fortune. The ones that we truly love are the ones that were truly being themselves, and it didn't matter if they fucking sucked.
Mm-hmm.
We loved them anyway because they were doing what they felt most inclined to do. Not a religious person either, but I live by the understanding that at this point in my life, to do anything other than to be myself is a slap in the face to whomever or whatever made me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I think I could do it better, I'm an arrogant son of a bitch because I know I can't create this shit.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe I did. That's another philosophical question.
Yeah, I heard Cody and I just knew she was my people.
Dude.
And then we got lucky. I got lucky. Let's be honest. Like, she could have been like, I'm kind of too busy to do this or do that thing, and
It's supposed to happen.
And yeah, it worked out for the best. The one thing I would say that Cody overestimated was how frequently we could do this show. She was like, "Let's do this." Didn't you say like? Yeah, you said like, I was like, what, once a month is what I originally wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
And I agree with you.
Dude, it's a lot more work than it appears.
Here we end in September. We started in January. We're in September, and I'm like, please, just once a month.
Plenty of shit to talk about, and then once that you get to the end of that initial list, you're like, how did we get here so fast? What are we gonna do? Everybody panic! It's time for the Serenity episode, I guess.
Yep.
Dude, you guys are doing such good things, though.
This is our 20th episode.
Congratulations! Well, on the
Bret and
reboot.
Codey. Yeah, the reboot. Yeah.
Which,
we're technically, this show's over 100.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Does it feel like 100 though?
Yes.
I've
of the 20 I've been on, yes, it feels like.
I've put out way, like, if you want to count all 3 shows, I've put out way more than 100. Like,
yeah.
I think about this often. This is like, I'm gonna be dead someday, and there's gonna be like what 400, 500, 600 more podcast episodes of at least half an hour to 2 hours worth of content of me yakking, and like anybody in my family could just fire up their
Isn't
iPhones
that
and
weird?
download an episode from
Kinda
like
weird.
August of 2020 and see what the world was like in August of 2020. And spoiler alert, it was bad, but you can hear about it through the lens of me at the time. Like, do you want to hear a Pokemon podcast in the midst of Black Lives Matters movement and COVID and like shit? Like, there's some shit in there from my life. Like, it's an
I love
interesting
that.
timestamp, and I think about that all the time. Like, eventually, like I'm gonna peace out and fucking die, and like I wonder about
It's the legacy mindset.
I wonder about like not that it like I don't care that anybody if anyone would care. I just wonder if anything that I did mattered.
Well, of course it
But I
did.
guess
It does, yeah.
I guess if I'm dead, it doesn't matter to me anymore because I'm dead. But I don't know.
I think
Like,
it matters.
am I putting forth all this effort? Like why? And sometimes, some days I don't know why.
You give me the ha-has
Same.
every week.
Give you the ha-has. Yeah. You're right. If I give someone the ha-has, even a little bit, even if they don't listen to it in 10 years after my death, then it was still worth it. Thank God YouTube doesn't delete videos.
Holy shit, man. They might want to get a few of mine in the beginning. They're pretty sad. But that's what it's all about, man. It's that 300, 400 stamp on society that you're contemplating. Everyone contemplates in one way, shape, or form. There was a writer, I think in the 70s, maybe even earlier than that, Ernst Becker, who wrote The Denial of Death, which is it's a book that discusses, it's a hypothesis, I guess, of how we came to be who we are in society today and what spurred the actions and the roles that we play. And it essentially all boiled down to the fact that because we are conscious, or we have, gained consciousness or the awareness that we were going to die, we freak the fuck out and start making shit up. We start to find, okay, well, now we need to know how we can live forever. So we go to religion.
And
now
podcasting.
Religion isn't working for me. So now I'm going to have to do what? Start a legacy. Whether it's by children, whether it's by written word, whether it's by music, whether it's by acting, whatever it is, we have this innate draw to leave something greater than ourselves. It's food for thought.
What is happening behind me? Y'all can see that, right?
My God, dude, I thought that was like the ring.
You said he thought it was the ring. We're back on the ring, baby. Let's go.
All I saw was somebody crawling. By the way, creepy movie.
Very creepy movie.
Oh, how many times in my life it has gone back to a reference to the ring? I cannot count, but it is an ongoing joke in After Dark Ride where the ring comes up. It came up for like every
I saw that in Japan. And let me tell you, the ring, already scary enough. Watch the Japanese version.
What are you doing? That's the wrong desk. You're supposed to be underneath mine.
What are you?
You're supposed to be. This is chaos. You're supposed to be underneath mine. What are you doing down there?
That's too funny.
I'm sorry, guys.
What a goober.
Jay,
I
wanted to bring up, you were talking about that new network that you're joining and helping create. Pod Dog was created because basically nobody wanted us. That's basically it. And I have to constantly get the shit out of my brain, or I go insane. So that's why like Let's Die exists. That's why it branched off into After Dark Rye, and then I wanted to continue to do things with my sister, so that's why Jaws Breakers exists. So like I suddenly had these 3 shows, and then secretly like there was actually more like 5 on the back burner that I just never got around to having time for. But like I'm like, I need a way to simplify because it's too much for me
Mm-hmm.
to try and do like, okay, so instead of having a Twitter for everyone, which we did and do, like we're having one Instagram. Fuck this. And like we're gonna have one link tree. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have all this. And if someone wants to get one of the one thing, you're gonna get it all, baby, because I don't have the bandwidth or the people, the manpower to help me.
It's a ton of content. It's a ton of things to put out there.
Pod Dog was born, baby, and that's where we are. Like we're still for sale. Just putting it out there, Papa Disney. You know, if you want to make an animated movie about a podcasting doggy, we're available.
I think that would be an amazing show. Actually, I could see that. I could see a podcasting dog.
But look, we got to take a break. While we're at the break, dear listener, I want you to get a glass of water. I want to get you your favorite bag of Cheetos there, probably the hot fire ones that you can light with a lighter. Mixed with
those will alarm the shit out of you in the morning.
Yeah. And then, you know, take a little bit of reflection and think about what's the podcast that I want to create. Leave it in the comments below. What podcast am I making? I know you're not gonna, but I want you to think about it for a second and think about, no, I'm not going to leave that comment. And we'll be right back after these messages that don't exist.
We don't have messages.
No messages.
Yeah.
We'll just let the conversation. Look, okay, this time I'm also recording. Okay. Jay, you were just talking to us about how Gary was offering to. Is it okay if we talk about this?
Yeah, please. No, go ahead. It's great.
Raffling off his Corvette to help pay for the new show, and I'm thinking, could I do that? Does anybody have any interest in me raffling my 2003 Toyota RAV4?
Bro, I used to tell my wife that it was a pregnant roller skate. She had one of those.
How dare! How dare! Look, have you ever been? I love my car, and the thought of
there's nothing wrong with it. It just looked like a pregnant roller skate to me.
It is very much a grandma car. The person that owned it before me was like a 90-year-old lady.
Yeah, this conversation, I don't even deserve to be in a conversation where raffling of Corvettes take place. Exactly. But this is what happens when your co-host comes from the world of Vegas and combat fighting and racing and all this stuff. And again, I'm the special kid that he brings along that just gets to play video production, I guess.
No, we're just
no, in all seriousness, it's a whole amazingly
you're
different
the talent.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta call yourself. You gotta call yourself.
That's such a weird situation.
You're offer only at this point.
You know, honestly, the more I think about it, the less I want to do any kind of business shit.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
There are people with steady dopamine levels that are made for that shit. They thrive in it. They're made to have the ability to churn widgets. You give me a pile of widgets and I'm going to fucking build a birthday cake. Like, it's not going to fucking be anything associated with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's required in podcasting. You got to have a yin and a yang.
Or the fourth widget, I'm just going to be sitting there playing with it and you're going to come in like 2 days later and be like, "Do you get it figured out yet?" And I'm going to be like,
all hyper focused.
Yeah, super hyper focused on the one thing.
I'm going to be like, honestly, man, I don't know what you want me to do at these things, so I didn't do it at all. And what are you going to do to me about it? Fire me?
Take away my paycheck?
Yeah. You're gonna not let me talk to people on a microphone?
Yeah.
You can't stop me. Try and stop me.
Right? There's nothing they can do about it.
Like I told y'all earlier, I talk for a living, and I occasionally have to answer calls, and you occasionally get the rude person on the other end, and you just need to remind them, like, one, you don't sign my paycheck. Two, you called me. And like, three, your issue is not mine. I'm the person you called to try and get it fixed. Like, do you want me to try and fix it? Then you should probably talk to me a little bit better. Of course, I don't say it exactly like that.
Understanding though that none of what is being discussed in the moment on that phone has anything to do with the anger that person has. It's such a bizarre scenario that we walk around like human tea kettles and we boil and boil and boil, but we'll only point the spout at the fucking non-playing characters, the ones
Yeah.
that can't judge us in the long term, the ones that, you know, won't have to be at the dinner table. But what we don't realize is they have their own dinner table. They take that fucking anger home to after you shit on them on the phone.
Yeah.
There's a
I
backstop.
I have learned to just delete people. Like once that person's hung up and that call is over, they no longer exist in my life. So they can't get under my skin. And if they want to give me shit, they can hang up and call back and try and get somebody else.
That's a strong position to be able to maintain. I'm not capable of that in my life. I have too much anxiety and inner voice that I will create a mental character for humans that are not in the moment with me. They will have entire storylines about what they feel about me because of that moment. And for as long as I cross the same part of the street where they were when that happened, I will recall that moment as long as I live and still probably think that they might be a little mad.
Yeah.
They might as well be AI to me.
So I wish. My first example that popped into my head was the one woman who fought with me about how a coupon was phrased, and that she had thought that the like way that the coupon was cut off to save like 50 cents on Cheerios. Let's be honest. It was nothing. But the way that it was phrased, she was like, oh, but they don't even have this size of, like, I called Kellogg and they don't even have this size. And I'm like, correct, because that's not how that is supposed to be read. Like, this is how,
I'm on board.
This is how the coupon is supposed to be read. Like, you read it the wrong way. And she was like, nope, my friend went to the other store in this other city and they gave her the 50 cents. And I'm like, yeah, because they don't want to deal with this. Like, it's not fucking worth it. And you best believe that was like over half my life ago, and she is right here. She's living rent free right here, arguing with me every day.
Dude, look, I tell people that all the time. You can't give up your fucking mental real estate.
When I first got the job that I have now, I was extraordinarily anxious and very nervous about it until something like, it wasn't too far after I started that it clicked. I'm like, oh, I work from home. I don't have to see these people face to face. I don't know what they look like. I don't know where. Well, I kind of know where they are, but like, I don't have to have that face to face with them. Yeah. And when the phone call is over and hung up, the chances of me ever talking to that person again are so like infinitely remote that like it doesn't matter.
It also doesn't matter that I never saw that woman again.
Right.
I never.
It's amazing.
I would have just gave her 50 cents. Here, you old broad. No. Here's 50 cents. See you later.
No.
Till the end of time.
No.
It will be there until it's actually solved. That's the other problem.
You got to find her.
She comes to me and says, I was reading the coupon incorrectly.
Or I was having a bad day and I used that as a way to vent. I'll accept that one more so than even the 50 cents.
Jay,
let's be honest. Karen doesn't even remember that day because she's too busy complaining about like the $2 she can get off a shitty pair of Under Armour shoes.
But I've been Karen. Mm-hmm. We've all been Karen. Mm-hmm. At some juncture that we've been a Karen and been completely oblivious to the fact that we were a Karen because we were justified.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of
every Karen is justified in their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy that gets the wrong order for dinner and then I just eat it anyway because I don't want to bother anybody.
You don't want to bother them.
No,
well, they don't make enough money to be bothered with this that they forgot like they made the wrong kind of hamburger or whatever the fuck. Like fuck it, it's a hamburger. I was gonna eat whatever they put on front of me anyway. Like why would I bother Jim, Bob, and Nancy in the back kitchen that are slaving away in the kitchen for less than what they're worth? Like, nah, I'm not sending it back. I'm just gonna eat it. Mm-hmm. Fuck it. I got a burger 2 days ago at my sister's birthday that was so undercooked it was like eating raw ground beef.
Nope, that's where I would draw a line.
Yeah, see,
food health, food safety, allergies.
I wouldn't ask for anything else.
I just wouldn't eat it.
I ate half of it before I started feeling sick.
And then they'd come up and be like, is there something wrong with it? And I would be
They did. they said, "Is there something wrong with your burger?" And I went, "No, it's all good.
Exactly.
I'm just not feeling particularly
got a
well right
pulse.
now." I literally said, "I'm
I
just not
think
feeling
it
particularly
moved.
well right
I
now."
don't.
Like, and she's like, "Oh,
Tail is
okay."
on the other
I
side. whipping
didn't
flies.
mention that I didn't feel particularly well because I was eating raw beef, but
Oh my god.
I was eating room temperature beef. But I went home. I ate it the next day. I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. It was
Oh, it's probably safer the next day after the microwave.
yeah, I think so because the meat was brown at that point instead of pink.
Cooked.
Yeah, cooked.
Oh my god,
So,
dude.
but like I was like, I'm not gonna bother anybody about this. I'm gonna buy my overpriced burger, but the fries were delicious, and call it a night.
As long as the fries were delicious, there's nothing worse than being super hungry and having something inedible put in front of you.
I
Especially when it's
go
fries.
so far as to make my trash easy to pick up for the garbage guys because I'm like, if I was in their shoes, I would be pissed off if someone just took all their trash and just dumped loose trash in front of their house for me to pick up one piece at a time.
Who does
Who
that?
does that?
or they just throw like people that throw their trash in the cans like individually.
Oh, dude, that's an animal, man.
And then you got to like pick out the cup and the plate, and you just got to like no, like I gotta sort or organize all of that for them so that it's I'm less of a hindrance to that person's day as possible. So that when they pull up in front of my house, they're like, "Oh, this is the easy house."
I'm with you. You just made something pop into my head. I have a hypothetical situation to pose to you guys. It's a garbage scenario. Ownership.
I'm
we are
human
garbage.
garbage. We are garbage. Yeah.
Or is there any liability on me in this snenario? Okay. So there's this phenomenon in the suburbs that whatever goes to the curb that's not in a can, there's somebody that slinks around with a truck and just grabs random shit from your driveway. Correct. That you were intending to throw away.
Yes.
You have a vacuum out there, old Keurig, whatever it is.
Free.
Yeah.
They just come by, grab that shit right next to the can. They don't care. You guys have seen like those indoor decorative trees that have like lights on them. Yeah. They just stay a solid color. We had one of those. Well, it eventually started doing this thing where it was blinking, and it wasn't because it was, the bulb on the Christmas tree was, the third one was turned. It was dying. It was like shorting out. You like when you grabbed it, when it blinked, you could slightly feel the hair on your arm start to raise.
This is a house fire waiting to happen.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was like, let me put this out by the curb. I didn't think to put like, this thing's effed up on it. I didn't know I had to let because it's gone.
Yeah.
So now I'm watching the news, waiting to find this house within my neighborhood that's on fire.
I mean, I think that when you pick up trash, when you are a trash panda, and you pick up trash. Panda. That's what my boyfriend calls me. Like every time
in Japan they have something called it a Kuda Monday. Look it up. Or no, that Panama, but
Kuwatamundi.
Tanuki.
Oh yeah, Tanuki is what you're talking about.
That's what I was saying. I thought of Panama at the same time. Sorry.
No, yeah, it's the like
pangolin.
That's no, but that's
I just wanted to say
like,
an animal.
You're welcome. I don't know why you're welcome.
Thank you, Cody.
To say that
Thank you. I know, you're welcome. Okay, sure.
No, like that's
I wasn't gonna dwell on that at all, Cody. Like I was gonna take the "you're welcome" and not even think twice about it.
Overthink it. Yeah. No, so like I will go. Like I furnished this entire house with mostly free shit, mostly off the side of the road, but some of it is other stuff that like people like gave me. They were moving, they gave it to me or whatever. And so he like all the time is like, what did you come home with now, you trash panda? And like when you grab something from the side of the road, you are grabbing it because they threw it out probably because it was broken in some way. So you're not liable. If someone's house burns down, they should have known better. Like,
well, see, here's my thing. It looked like the blinking was fairly rhythmic.
Nope.
So they could have plugged this in and be like, oh, it's a blinking tree.
Well, I'm sure it'll stop blinking in a rhythmic way.
Why is the cat convulsing when it touches it?
That thing could be giving off cancer for all I know.
You're not liable. Not the asshole. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Yeah,
Although I've never been that person. I've never been the person to take somebody else's trash. No, I've been the asshole.
Oh, dude, no, I've taken my town. I live in a college town. I go to a college. And there's a bunch of international students that come for like 2 or 3 years. They buy this really good shit and then they dump it.
Totally get it.
And so the summer when everyone moves out is like, it's Christmas. Like there are some good things. One of my friends dumpster dives and she makes like
I don't do that.
Couple $1,000s a month just from selling the stuff that was thrown away on eBay. She finds like iPads that work and like this whole card game that we had to try and figure out what kind of card game it was because it was in a different language. But like she made a bunch of money off that. People they don't want to deal with it. They just throw it away.
Dude,
I don't pick up things off the side of the road quite like that, but I have done it before. And the exception that I made was like an entire weight bench and like with the weights and the bar, like just chilling on the side. I'm like, oh, this is a home gym. Free weights too. I'm like, this is mine now.
Dude, what happened? I'm more curious in the situation that made somebody drop a home gym on the side of the road.
And you know, it was
in place.
It was
how angry were they?
It was 2022, and like when you couldn't go to the gym anymore, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect."
My God, that's like perfect. That's serendipitous.
Gold.
Like,
it was gold because like any type of like home workout equipment was sold out in stores and like way inflated on like Facebook yard sale or whatever. Just like
I grew up so poor, I could never do that because of my inner issues. That I was like, as soon as I grabbed it, I would revert back to being at the Dent and Bent as a kid, buying like random cans of whatever that's supposed to be this food, but ends up being beets or some shit like that. Oh, you want to disappoint a poor kid? Tell him that he got a can of SpaghettiOs and meatballs, even though it doesn't have the label. And when he gets home and opens it and it's beets.
Yeah.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
It's funny now.
Yeah, it's funny now, Jay, but that makes me very sad.
It was so sad.
Yeah. And I want to go back in time to give little you a can of SpaghettiOs.
Like, just pop out of nowhere and be like, here you go.
Like, hey, man, can I just give me that can of beets? Here's some ravioli, some Chef Boyardee.
Beets,
name brand, baby.
Like, who does that? Like, why do we even have beets?
I love beets.
No,
yeah, I'm with you, Jay. I don't know why beets exist.
I question a lot of things that have become food. Like, who's the first asshole to grab certain things?
Who the fuck looked at what the dangly bits under a cow and was like, let's drink that?
Thank you. That is weird as all hell.
It
tastes great.
Or wow, these bees are really jealously guarding this thing in their hive that could be poop for all we know, could be vomit. It's vomit. Let's try it. Is it good?
Tasty.
It's tasty.
Let's smell these disgusting ass shit onions called ramps, and what happens if we just shove them in our mouths?
Like, who grabbed a rutabaga? Like, these are the things that
I think it's just
keep you up at night.
I think it was just people that were hungry and had nothing else,
right.
and were like just like this has to be something, and then just shove it in their mouth, and then realize that it would keep them alive.
No, they like go to all hell and back to make it palatable, like soft. Because some of these things that we're discussing, you can hit with a bat over a center field fence. Yeah, they're so hard.
Okay, Jay, I've got. Oh, sorry, go for it, Brett.
No, go ahead, Cody.
Oh, I was gonna say I've got an idea. So instead of doing the normal like second half that we normally do,
yeah, it's too late for that.
Yeah, it's too late for that. What we usually have are these death cards. So this is if you were to roll a very low, like 1 or 2.
Right. It's basically D&D light, right? Like we put you in a scenario, and then you have to survive it or die or whatever. And then if you want to perform an action, me or Cody would roll a dice, and depending on that outcome, you could potentially get either like a gift card or a death card. And where are you going with this, Cody?
I'm going with I propose that I have a couple death cards here, and I present them to Jay and ask how he would survive them.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Let's do this.
Hang on. Oh, before you do that, Cody.
Oh, okay. Oh, we've got an audio coming our way. There's some audio.
Squirting. Stop it. Squirting test subject.
Oh no.
Patient 2. Lathering test subject in testing oil. Squeezing test subject into the test air.
It's beautiful.
Cody, that's Cody's favorite one.
It's my favorite one. I hate the word squirting, but I love that your mom. So the lovely human that records those things.
My
like,
mom.
she
You can
lost
say
it.
this
Okay,
is
cool.
the behind the scenes thing. That's my mom.
She lost it.
That was your mom?
Yeah,
That's
that's my
amazing.
mom.
Now it's even better.
Yeah, you
Right?
wanna, here it is one more time.
Squirting. Stop it. Squirting test subject from the regeneration tube. Lathering test subject in testing oil.
Lathering test
Squeezing
subject.
test subject into the test air.
Her breaking at the end is what
So
gets me.
he has these like things that he just wants her to record really quickly, and she says that.
Perfect.
So she just has to read it, and she lost it when she read that one, which is hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, you are in a room. It's a dark room, and the lights suddenly pop on, and in front of you is a Shagoth. A Shagoth.
Is it Shagoth or Shagoth? I thought it was Shagoth.
Shagotha. I don't know how you say this.
Artwork is sick.
How would you survive that? How would you survive this being right here?
Well, that's not fair. Jay, do you know what a Shagoth is?
I don't know what a Shagoth is.
Okay.
But it looks like something was previously sticky.
So a Shagoth is like
it's got stuff stuck all over.
It does.
Are you familiar with Cthulhu or the Cthulhu mythos as created by an author named H.P. Lovecraft? Shagoth is a eldritch horror from another dimension. Basically,
It looks like an amoeba of some sort. With
it's basically like a giant
down here. It's got some eyeballs.
It's basically like a giant amoeba, and it is hostile.
Mm.
And it will absorb you and incorporate your.
No, I have an idea already.
Okay, what you got? How would you survive this?
I've got a salt gun. I feel like I can
the bug
dehydrate
assault?
the shit.
Yes, I feel like
I'm going to dehydrate the shit out of this thing. It's all liquid. I'm going to pour salt all over it and watch it shrivel.
There you go.
I like it.
Would that work, Brett?
Let's find out.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, my sound's not working. Oh, there it goes.
How was yours?
18.
Yeah, you survived it.
Yay! Let's go.
Okay, your next thing. There's no picture here. It's just words.
This is one of mine. You will die from this poem.
This is one of mine. An adorable beagle who is also a zombie and is torn between giving you kisses and biting you.
Hold on.
But we all know what will happen. There is an image associated with this one, and it's that.
Oh,
he's not.
His name was Cujo.
His name. I'm upset. Remus is not a zombie. Don't call him a zombie. He's a baby.
A zombie beagle that wants to give you kisses.
She's calling him a zombie because he's such an old baby boy.
He's dying.
Stop, Cody.
Don't say that.
He's a good boy. No, it's so.
I have a bull mastiff. She's
so
a big
context. He's 12. Ever since he was 3 months old, I found out he had a heart condition, and they were like, it'll just happen like one day. And so I've been ready for 12 years.
Isn't that like what everybody is going through?
Yeah.
Like,
you just always have to be ready.
We're all one inhalation or a heartbeat from being done.
But he has a heart. He's got all kinds of issues. So imagine he's actually a zombie in this thing.
Okay.
And he's torn between giving you kisses and biting you. How would you survive that?
He's torn.
He's 12.
I just wouldn't survive that. I'd be like,
I wouldn't either. I'd be like,
baby.
I'd get my face ed off.
I'd accept my fate.
Yeah. I mean, because beagles are amazing.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Man, I think I would bring treats. Half human remains.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Begging strips.
This is taking a turn. Aren't begging strips just human remains in the first place?
Probably. There's some kind of remains.
Allegedly.
Hooves and tails or something.
Yeah, I mean, like it's all the runoff from the cattle farm or whatever. Like, who knows? Old Ruckus slipped and fell down the meat chute.
Yep.
Right. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to try to distract him in both directions. Whenever he gets angry, I'm going to show him the other one, each side. I'm going to try to
Okay.
balance it out.
Brett?
I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
You're trying to whatever his current need is, you're trying to
I'm going to satiate whatever
Yeah.
urge he's got. You want to bite?
Yeah. A
Here's the
tiger is more likely to be pet if his belly is full.
This is true.
But don't pet tigers. 16.
All right. Is that good?
Yeah.
That's great.
You
Out of
survived
20.
All right.
it. You
Moving
survived
on.
it.
You're slaying it.
Okay, here's the last one. This one's really hard, actually.
Did you pick
So-
now or were these random?
Redacted.
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 Now pay for the Patreon behind the scenes of the behind the scenes episode. Cody, was it
Okay, wait.
chosen?
I guess I'll let him choose. Well, the problem is that some of these
I like that.
are.
I
I did pick them.
that. Oh, baby.
Okay. Which one you want?
I'll take number 2.
Middle?
Yep.
Dos.
Brett, can you roll a d4, please?
I can,
So
and
you
I
don't-
will.
Do you know Pokemon, Jay?
Oh, this is gonna be.
I know
rough.
that, like, I love the name Squirtle.
It's pretty cute.
Who doesn't? I love to make. Well, never mind. I don't want to finish my thought.
What's the d4 there?
It is a 1.
Okay. So the next thing you have to survive is one of these. That specifically
What?
wants to
What?
Oh,
Why is that egg smiling like a donut?
it looks
Like,
very
it's
surprised.
very
So you
disturbing.
have to survive one of these. This Pokemon's called Jinx. You have to
It's-
survive a Jinx that wants to, and then there was a D4 to try and figure out what it wants.
I want to know
do.
why she has a bra.
And it
Yeah, I was
wants-
like, she looks like she's a
she wants to hug
toy.
you.
She wants.
So how do you
She-
survive this Jinx that wants to hug you?
How do you survive that sex doll coming at you?
Yeah, that is one bizarre looking sex doll.
It's a Pokemon.
Do you think
Um,
that? Do you think that there's like a third? Like, obviously, there's not going to be an official Pokemon, but you think there's like a company that makes like, here's the Jinx sex doll, here's the Mr. Mime sex doll.
It's already made.
100%.
Already made.
Yeah.
It's in a
Rule
vending
30
machine in
Rule
Japan.
34.
It
Rule
blows
34.
up when it comes out.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Here's the Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet.
disgusting.
The Wobbuffet.
You do- How would you survive that?
Well, it looks kind of like a crazy ant at like a party,
That's fair.
right?
She's like 4 feet tall. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they're always disturbing. They want to kiss you,
Yeah.
mildly drunk.
Yeah.
This is what this
You're
looks like to
nailing
me.
it right now.
Jinx
Yeah.
literally wants to kiss you. Yes, that's correct.
And the way that I get away from that is I eat something horribly smelly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 4
And then I
feet.
tell them openly that I'm doing it and make a joke that you don't want to come near me because I smell like shit.
Mhm.
I'd hate to intervene, but you could eat something horribly hot because Jinx is an ice type, which is
An
weak
ice
to
type.
fire. You
Oh,
could eat some fire hot Cheetos.
Okay, well, so your attempt is to eat something.
correct.
To deflect.
So
Heinous.
smelly that she melts.
What do we got?
4.
A 4?
It's a 4.
Yeah.
Am I getting
she's,
kissed?
she's coming in for that,
Yeah.
hug, my dude.
My God,
Jay.
she's got my cheeks pinched.
Oh yeah.
hmm Her big frog fingers that she has for
Oh,
some
man,
reason.
dude.
Look,
I
nobody
can
knows.
Smell her purse.
It smells like Werther's Originals.
Yes.
Smells like a perfume, like a lipstick.
Mothballs and
lipstick
Smells like
Stopped in there
smells
somewhere.
like leathery keys to an old Studebaker somewhere.
Studebaker.
Like, so no one knows what's underneath the dress of a Jinx, Jay, but unfortunately you're going to be the one to find out. So congratulations you're now a biologist.
But I feel like it's just going to be a smooth egg. It looks like a weeble wobble.
Let's look that we could only hope that the horrors that
praying
you'd
for egg.
experience at the hands of Jinx are but a fraction of Cody help. worse.
Anybody that smiles like that with their mouth in a circle is already suspect.
Like, you thought the Shoggoth was weird with all its random holes. Like, you're in for some
Jinx
nightmare
is
fuel.
known as a nightmare fuel in
Shoggoth looks
Terrible.
like, do you remember those like sticky hands and octopuses you used to get as a kid that you'd throw at the wall? And it always had like hair and some other weird crap stuck to it from the carpet.
First time you try it, it's
That's
just
what Shoggoth looks like. Like gack that got dropped on the carpet.
Yep.
Oh no!
And you best believe we can't afford the good, more. So we just have to make do with that. It doesn't even stick anymore. It's got so much fabric in it.
It's got that bubble with the hair in it that you're trying to knead out of the corner.
You're trying to get it, but that hair and like every time you try and pull the hair, it just breaks more. And it gives you less leverage against the hair.
It seems to gather more weird items too. The longer you knead it, you're like, what is this?
Where did this come from?
It's a piece of potato chip.
It's like the inside of a Stretch Armstrong that you threw in the microwave.
Exactly.
100%.
Do you remember Stretch Armstrong? What a weird toy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Do you remember the 90s?
He had a Speedo.
Yes.
And speaking of Speedos, you can see mine on Instagram. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. But do check us out on Instagram at InstaPodDog. That's where we're at. I don't post nearly as much as I should, mostly due to repeated social media burnout.
Yeah, it do be that way.
But like if I get rid of Twitter, I refuse to call it the other name.
It's not.
Then that would free up more Instagram time. But folks, that's going to do it for us here on this episode. Jay, thank you so much for being here with us. Could you please tell the people all about where you are, how they can follow you home, what your address is, your telephone number, folks? We need all the socials, your mother's maiden name, and the color of your car,
I'm not afraid.
license plate,
your first dog.
Your first dog.
I assume it's all out there.
Paternal's grandmother, all that stuff.
Making it simple for you. TheTragedyAcademy.com. It's got all our socials, got all our episodes, got all our guests, talks about what we're doing, where we've been. You want to hear World Series pitchers, UFC fighters, gang violence survivors. You want to hear about endometriosis. You want to hear about skydiving. You want to hear about anything you could possibly imagine is there. LGBTQ, race, inequality. We do it all, right? And all these people are very special. You cannot pass this up. It's an opportunity for you to grow and appreciate what you have lifetime. These people are so amazing. I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. I know we've been part of the same creative group for so long. And yes, that's you too. Here's the reality. Before that group, I was spinning my wheels, doing the work by myself without knowing what it felt like as other people. Because when you podcast in a silo until you make friends. And then, like we talked about, that's the zombies on the other side. Right. So I'm grateful that I found my Walking Dead. Right. Because that's what we all are. And I appreciate you for sticking with it more than anything. Sticking with it is what more people need to do in the world. Right? Because that's an example. I talk about it on my show all the time. Be a lighthouse. Lighthouse doesn't need to brag. Lighthouse doesn't need to do anything except for what? Be a lighthouse. It'll show other people the way. It'll help them find their direction. And then in the end, they'll just become a lighthouse too. So I appreciate you. I hope everybody comes in and listens to our show. And dude, you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Wow. Codey, I'm so sorry you had to follow that.
Insects are really important.
They are, dude. I think Starship Troopers was a fucking smear campaign against arachnids.
Yeah.
I still love.
Important.
I agree, but I do love that movie. It's awesome. It's an awesome movie.
But no,
Codey at the Hiking Beagle.
I'm at the Hiking Beagle. Beagle BEE on Instagram.
It's adorable.
Yeah, that's my boy. My boy. I do also have an Australian Shepherd on there, and I've been dropping some funny, I think they're hilarious, some hilarious reels. So you can follow me on that. I'm still on the Twitters. Just started the Blue Skies. Just my name, just Codey Mathis. So
I don't
Keep it
know.
simple.
keep it
I don't know what
doxing
color this
myself
guy is.
every day of the world. Every
Yeah. And thanks again for coming, Jay. You're an inspiration. We loved having you. And don't forget, if we're gonna die, let's die together. Close, so close, so damn close. Now, Codey,
Okay.
this is the part where I play the outro music on time.
Uh-huh.
Need spiked shoulder pads.
Oh, do you remember the Road Warriors?
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, like they had like this toy, like they basically, Codey, they were wrestlers and they had like these shoulder pads with these massive spikes, and it's like, oh, it's supposed to be like Mad Max ish. And you know my love
horrible.
for Mad Max. But like I remember when I was a kid, they had a toy, and like everybody wanted the Road Warriors toys, like action figures, but they got recalled because the spikes were too sharp and they were actually like dangerous. Like you could actually put your fucking eye out with them.
I mean, why didn't they just make them out of Nerf?
Why didn't they just like clip the spikes off? I don't know.
Something like I feel like Nerf is missing its mark on child like furniture and shit. Like you can bite Nerf and it doesn't fucking kill you. You just spit it out and nobody's gonna crack their head on the corner of a Nerf dresser.
They're on the way there because I have a bunch of Nerf dog toys.
It's so weird.
They're like testing it with dogs first, and then they'll go to children.
It's so weird how you said that one thing and like it just dredged up that whole memory from my childhood. That whole time. What a
dude!
weird...
Everything was made of Nerf.
Oh.
Like they had like the turbo football, the turbo this, the turbo that. This one whistles in the air. This is the squirt guns now and shit are like insane. Nerf now is like
I love squirting.
That's where we're gonna end it.
Yeah, I